Hi guys! Welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. The theme today is the Entitled Parents subreddit, which we have never done before, so I am excited about this. The title of the first story is My Mother Has Been Shaming Me Since I Got Married and Now Is Trying to Marry Out My Minor Daughters. I can't believe I ever had to make a post about my mother, but here we are. My 45 female mother, 71 female, have a great relationship. My mother was an old school traditional wife. She was a homemaker, never did any work outside the house, had far more kids than what I think is healthy, 7 girls and 6 boys. She is originally from Guatemala and came to the US when she was 14. She married my father here, had her family here, and tried to make sure myself and my siblings had old school values, something she really failed at. Most of my siblings are as far from my mother as humanly possible. 2 of them sadly passed away. I'm the only one that stayed near to take care of my parents, and since Dad died, I've taken my mother's bills so she can live easy. She's always been a dramatic headache, especially when it comes to my marriage. She babied my husband. Always took his side. I only wanted 1 kid, but my husband wanted as many as biologically possible. He had told me he also only wanted 1 when we talked about marriage in the first place. My mother helped him mess with my birth control, so I got pregnant with my youngest. I don't regret my youngest daughter, but after she was born, I secretly had my tubes tied. My mother always berated me for being faulty since I only had 2 children. That's not counting how she berated me for marrying old. I married at 22. She married at 16. My husband was 49 when he died in a car crash recently. We shared 2 daughters, 14 and 16. He was also having an affair with a girl since 2020. The girl was 24 when she died. Together, they had twin boys early this year who thankfully survived the crash. My daughters found out the affair first, when their father took them to the hospital to meet the babies and told the girls to keep it a secret from me. They didn't, and my husband became abusive towards them and myself. We were in the divorce process when he died. My husband's affair came out, my mother blamed me. She said it was because I was a working woman that didn't please her husband, that I didn't give him enough children, that I wasn't pretty anymore. I'm not going to say I'm super attractive, but I think I look good for my age. I've kept my weight well enough and I look relatively young for my actual age. But no, according to my dear mother, I wasn't good enough for my husband, who needed a girl closer in age to our daughters than to him. She also was on the group of people angry at me when I refused to adopt my husband's affair children. Her newest crazy is she's trying to find husbands for my daughters, mainly focused on my eldest. This crazy plan started this week when my eldest came out to us. I had an idea, and I'm happy she felt comfortable enough in this massive mess we're in to still tell me and her sister. My daughter also decided to tell my mother about it. My mother just ended the call, then called me to scream about how confused and sick my daughter is. She's linked me conversion camps, psychologists, and claim homosexuality is a sickness. Wackos, in my opinion. Political articles, etc. She even wanted to see about doing an exorcism. I told her to stop it, or she would be in no contact with my in-laws. She stopped for literally 24 hours. Next thing I get is a Facebook message from a man in his mid-20s asking if it was true that I was looking to marry out my 16-year-old daughter. I told him he was sick and I blocked him. I got 6 more through the night. Then my mother called saying she found husband prospects for my girls. My high school-aged girls. Angry has been an understatement. She even gave some of these men my daughter's cell phone numbers. We're all getting new numbers tomorrow, and I had the girls put their social medias into private. I don't know what part of the brain is broken in my mother's brain. I had the girls block their grandmother and everything, and I'm stopping payments to anything that my mother needs. I know I need to call the cops. I just never thought I would need to call the cops on my own mother. It's been only 2 weeks since I had to cut my in-laws off. I'm just exhausted. And please, do not think this is a normal Hispanic thing. It's not. My aunts are amazing women, most of them also homemakers. They are actually on my side, cutting off my mother and calling the cops. They even suggested for my daughters and I to move closer to them in another state. This is just my mother being insane. Ugh. Holy shit. If you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you. Holy shit. I mean, the title was enough. And then going through that post, I was like having to keep my jaw from dropping because that is insane. I mean, no wonder her other kids have tried to move as far as possible away from her. And I would love to know what like motivates you to help your mother or pay for her things in the first place, because she just sounds like an awful, awful person all around. Everything about her, she's terrible. This is like what, oh my God, these are the type of old people that literally scare me to death. Scare me to death. Like, oh, I always wonder, like, because my grandparents, both sides, are super religious. My step grandparents aren't that religious. And honestly, what's really funny is that my step grandparents, who I've known since, because I've told you guys, like, the story of my parents getting divorced when I was like 4. So I've known my stepmom since I was as long as I can remember. She was our neighbor. So, like, I've known my step grandparents for my whole entire life. And it's so funny because my real grandparents never make an effort to talk to me. But now that my grandpa's died, my grandma like doesn't really speak to anyone. It's really weird actually. She like doesn't respond to anyone's messages ever, and like she's just very, I don't know what. Maybe it's because she had to take care of my grandpa for so long that now she's just like trying to do her own thing. I don't know. But my dad's parents, they literally don't even send me a birthday card anymore. Sorry. Anyways, to that, I was going to say, like, I always wonder how, if I were to come out as like gay or bisexual, if my grandparents on either side would accept me, because my grandparents are super religious. Like my dad's side of the family, my grandparents on that side, my grandma is like an angel. She's literally so sweet, so kind, and so like genuine and gentle. But they are both super religious. Like they go to prisons and they preach, and I always wonder about that. I don't know. It would be interesting. The fact that she's saying an exorcism, if anyone needs an exorcism in this story, it's you. It's you, Granny. You need an exorcism because you have a demon taking over your body. You're like the meanest person I've ever heard of in my entire life. Are you kidding me? That's what's so crazy. It's like the most hypocritical thing ever. Let's read. There's a small update and then an update, and then another small update after that. Okay, small update. We went to the police today and they took all the information I had. The officer we spoke to was incredible and immediately helped my lawyer with all that was needed for a temporary restraining order. We'll be filing it this week and hopefully get it within the month. After, we'll focus on a permanent restraining order. This is on my mother and any third parties on her behalf. The officer was also kind enough to offer to check on us and our house at least once a day. School has also been notified of the situation, and one of my brothers is going to come live with my daughters and I until we decide if, where, when we move. I can't just up and pack everything since I still have a job and my girls are in the middle of the school year. For now, we're safe and my girls have new phone numbers. It's so scary because one of these men that this grandma is trying to force her daughters to marry could literally like kidnap her granddaughters and traffic her. And it's almost like she's trying to traffic her daughters, to be honest. It's really scary. Update. So, some good news came out today regarding my mother. As of November 2024, she will be on her own monetarily. There's also an investigation on her regarding what she tried to do to my daughters, and a very old investigation reopened about a family matter I can't really speak on for the time being. Because of the charges on my mother, we might get an expedite on the restraining order since there's minors involved, so fingers crossed. The restraining order will also keep some others from contacting me, mainly my in-laws. On other news, after talking to my daughters, the three of us agree we don't really like our house anymore. It makes me a bit sad because it was my childhood home and a gift from my dad, but the reality is there's too much baggage. I looked at some places and it feels like the ghost of my husband's infidelity is everywhere. My girls don't like the fact that we're so close to their grandparents, and my brother, who's moved in with us, has been very blunt about the fact that the house is just not worth the stress. So, as painful as it is, I'm planning to do some repairs and either sell or rent it out. It's a big house, 9 bedrooms, so far more space than we ever need. I'll be happy with half that, so my girls can have their own room, and I can have an office. My brother will also stay with us after we move. Not sure if it's a forever situation, but he's a good support for my eldest daughter when it comes to LGBTQ plus matters. I have to admit, I know the bare facts. While my brother is gay and came out almost 30 years ago, he's been a fount of advice about resources and given her advice, especially after my mother's stunt. My youngest has also started to do better. She's back to talking as usual and seems less scared about going out. She's been very excited about looking for a new house with me. She wants the perfect yard, so we'll see what we can find. My job offered a transfer out of state, also an international transfer, but that one is more likely a no for me. So a new beginning will do us good. That's all that I got. Not much actual updates, as much as setting my mind on some decisions after reading advice on here and talking it through with people in my life. As of November, I'm officially refusing to acknowledge my mother. As far as I know, my parents were gone after my father died. Update 2. This is a small update, but wanted to let everyone know we're doing okay. I still can't share many details, but we finally have a court date for the restraining order. It took longer than expected, but things have been somewhat quiet. I'll let you all know more when I can. Oh my god. Wild. Some of the comments: she gave them your daughter's numbers, call the police. Get them new numbers. I would seriously consider taking the aunts up on their offer. She just put your entire family in danger because she has to be in charge. She's already made your life hell. Now she's targeting your kids. Full on mama bear time, with emphasis on the bear part, all teeth and claws. What is wrong with your mother? Their grandmother. Yeah, this is felony level insanity. Grandma's gone off the chain. Grandma is attempting to traffic OP's underage children. Literally. Literally, that's actually so scary. Cut her off. There are 10 other siblings. Their turn to support her. Tell her you can't afford to support her now. Your provider is dead and you need to get a new man ASAP. So can't have her being a burden. OP's mom did such a good job of alienating her children that OP was the only one willing to care for her. Grandma is going to end up in a state-run facility with 0 visitors. Bet she still thinks she was a fantastic mom too because she was a homemaker. Not her fault 13 kids couldn't stand her. I can't even wrap my mind around having 13 kids. It sounds awful. No, that's wild. My great-grandma, I think it was, great-grandma? Or my great-great-grandma. I think my grandma's grandma. So my great-great-grandma? She had 22 kids, which is crazy. But 2 of them died at birth. They were stillborn, and I think they were twins. And I think sorry, also, trigger warning. That doesn't really help after the fact. But so my grandma had aunts and uncles, 20 of them, I think. So that's wild. But she was literally in the newspaper like years and years and years ago, obviously, but the Chicago newspaper, I think it was. Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support. The title of the next story is My Mom Just Upgraded Her Wedding Ring Because My Engagement Ring Was Too Nice. My now fiance said that my mom told her husband that she wanted to upgrade hers the moment she saw the ring my fiance picked for me when he asked for their blessing. Time for an upgrade is exactly what she said. It's been a few weeks and they went to get a quote on her ring, which at first I was fine with and kind of teased her because I thought it was silly. She was jealous. I told her as long as it didn't look like mine, and they both confirmed it wouldn't be, as she liked a different cut. Well, she came out with a massive, similar shaped stone with a huge, thick band made of smaller diamonds, but still larger than average, mind you. They sent all of us a photo of it, and it's nuts how much they spent on it. When I asked her why she really needed such a large piece, she told me I didn't deserve to have a larger ring than hers because I'm not even married yet. So they agreed to get her a bigger one because she earned it. First of all, I think this is insane to equate your self-worth to a ring. But what? And secondly, they said they had been having money problems, and the amount they spent seems irresponsible. I just wanted to vent a little and see if anyone has had something similar happen. Edit, I took out some of the specific details that might identify me if this gets too big. Also, thanks for the awards. I'm going to let this roll off my back now and just enjoy the engaged life and wedding planning with hopefully as little drama as possible. I can't imagine like competing with your daughter. That's crazy to me. And I feel like that's honestly so common. It's like women will have daughters and then they'll end up competing with them and being like, cuz you hear those stories where the moms sleep with their daughters' boyfriends and stuff, which is so insane. There's this one interview I watched on YouTube actually, and it's this girl that does like all these interviews with people that just have crazy stories to tell. I forget what her podcast is called, but one of them went super viral on YouTube, and it's about this girl basically just telling her story about how her mom slept with her boyfriend when she was in high school. it was like wild story. I can't even grasp that happening. Some of the comments: get a comically giant moissanite cubic Z and say your upgrade got me thinking. Should be a fun reaction. OP said, I might do this, lol. Edit, after some thought, I won't be doing it. Fiance and I don't want to cause a stir with my parents. We also agreed not to be providing any more details of the wedding to her to ensure we get to choose what we want without her influence or opinions. Moissanites are sparklier than diamonds and cheaper, so this would be a good idea. I always think about how I would want a moissanite instead of a diamond. I would just want like a different stone. I feel as if I want a aquamarine stone because that's my birthstone and my favorite movie and my favorite color. I don't want a diamond, that's for sure. If I were to get a diamond, it would be a moissanite and not a real diamond or even a lab grown diamond, because I'm just like very, and I'm not trying to be a pick me, but I'm very low, not low maintenance, but like low. I don't like getting all the nicest things. I like getting the cheapest possible, but also nice. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like just like shopping at Shein. I like going to the thrift store and finding nice clothes that you can give a second life to, but they'll last you forever. But it was like $2, you know? Everything basically is used for my house, most of it. The next title of the next story is Mother of the Bride Forgets It Isn't Her Wedding. As a kid, I would often be working at my dad's workplace. He was an off-premise caterer and an event planner, and would often be hired to put together lavish wedding parties. Huge feasts, cheese and fruit tables about 40 feet long. Lots of wine, sometimes multiple pigs for both an afternoon and an evening roast. Lots of fancy people wanting fancy parties, paying a ton of money, and expecting the world to revolve around them. One event in particular stood out because when the bride to be and her mother came in to go over details, they had some rather heated disagreements over some really, really stupid crap. My dad would just sit there quietly, not taking sides, and patiently wait for people to work out the differences. But one argument came to an interesting and final conclusion. The mother of the bride was arguing about the specific shade and decorative ribbons and icing trim on the cake should be. Up until that point, she had proven herself incapable of letting her daughter have the final say in anything, from the menu to the plate garnishes to the time the meal was to start. The mother was insisting that she have her way on everything. The daughter was gritting her teeth and just grinding through it. But when her mother started to fuss about the exact shade of off-light green, no, that's too light, no, that's too dark, the bride snapped. She loudly and firmly stated, Mother, if you don't knock it off right this instant, I'm going to disinvite you from the wedding. This is my day, and while I value your input, the decisions will be mine. She then turned to my dad, looked him squarely in the eyes, and said, I will be signing your check. You work for me. Nothing is decided until I say so. If my mother tries to plan or change anything, you are to call me immediately. I do not expect you will have any problems with that. My dad simply said, not at all. And they just got back to planning the wedding. They sound very fun to be around. I mean, even like the daughter saying that, which I understand being frustrated, but even the daughter, just her response to the dad saying, I will be signing your check. You work for me. Like, I don't know. They just sound a little pretentious to me. I feel like I don't know. I don't want to like hate on rich people, but some rich people can obviously be so terrible and so just awful. And nothing is worse than a rich person that wants to like cosplay being a poor person. Because this girl I was like best friends with in college, you guys wouldn't believe. She would always in college be very much like, oh, I'm not rich. Like, no. And she would try to be really modest about it. Meanwhile, she's going on shopping sprees, spending thousands, $10,000 every month, okay, on her dad's credit card. Yeah, $10,000 on her dad's credit card, okay? Let that fucking sink in. That's insane to me. And then I'm like, you cannot act modest when this is what you're doing. Like, that is crazy. And then I feel like the reason we didn't really have a falling out. We kind of just stopped being friends, but it ended up turning into a falling out for no reason. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But I think, I mean, a big part of it was because we both did we were stuck to each other's fucking hips for 3 years straight, and it just got unhealthy. Like, we had every single thing together. We did everything together. We had every class together. We lived together in the same room, everything. So I think that just got unhealthy, and we just like we just could not anymore. It was just very codependent and unhealthy. But I think a big part of it was too that we just were so different. Like, I grew up very poor. She grew up very rich. She's still very rich. I'm still very poor at that point. And so I just feel like it was hard. But you guys wouldn't believe the baby shower she just had. It literally looked like a high-end wedding. It was actually insane. And I don't know, stuff like that just bothers me because I'm just like, you can't act like, no, I'm just talking shit. I'm sorry. But you can't act like, oh, I'm so modest, and then you're spending $10,000 a month on your dad's credit card and having an insane baby shower that you probably paid tens of thousands of dollars for. I don't know. It just seems like a waste to me. Like, it's literally such consumerism and capitalism, and it's really scary. It was really scary. I saw the pictures and I was like, oh, what the hell? What the hell? It's so crazy. It was like the Kardashians. It was one of their parties. That's what it looked like. It was really wild. Wild to me. And maybe I'm just jealous. I don't think so, because I don't think that I would want to have a baby shower like that, to be so honest. I don't know. I'd rather like take everyone on a fucking trip. Like I'm saying a million times. I'm like, for my baby shower, all the people I love, let's go to Mexico. Or let's go to like an all-inclusive resort in fucking the Bahamas or something. I don't know. That's me. I'm like more about experiences rather than like showing off my wealth. But maybe that's because I don't have any wealth. Ugh. Okay. Some comments. Yes, I must take over the most important day for my daughter against her will. Of course she has to. Don't you understand? The daughter wouldn't be there without her. The only reason of her daughter and him are even there are to make her look good. I actually read a story from a woman in an article about insane mothers slash in-laws and weddings that was unthinkable to me. Her mom wore what was obviously a white wedding dress to the wedding as her mother of the bride attire. I am a mom to a female child, and I would rather stick a pencil in my eye before ruining my daughter's special day. I just always wonder what has to be wrong in your brain where you're trying to compete or take like overshadow your daughter, right? Because I'm gonna be, if anything, I want my daughter to be the center of attention. I mean, like when she's older, I don't want to like teach her that growing up because God forbid. But when she's older, I want her to have like the best times and be, I don't even know how to say it, but you know what I mean, right? Like I'm never gonna want to overshadow my daughter. Like what? No, actually, I actually hate attention, and I don't I don't like attention. Like you would think I do, but I don't like a lot of, I don't know, like certain things make me just so uncomfortable. Like I don't like being in a big group and people singing happy birthday to me. That's my biggest fear. That is my biggest fear on earth. Like please don't. And or even just in regular, me and my boyfriend went to dinner when we were in Savannah, Georgia, and he planned this dinner at this nice restaurant. And there was a lady going around basically like asking everyone what the occasion was, and then she would sing. She was like a really good singer. So there was like a bachelorette party there, and she sang go into the chapel and where, and then she come my boyfriend was like, I'm gonna tell her that it's your birthday because she just sang for someone else's birthday. I was like, if you do that, I will never forgive you. Thank God he was in the bathroom when she came over, and she was like, oh, what's the occasion? And I just said, oh, it's just our first time in Savannah. That's the occasion tonight. Like, I didn't even tell her it was my birthday. I was like, please don't fucking sing happy birthday to me because I'll literally, like, I'll cry. But I don't know. I guess in some cases, I like it. I think me being a content creator obviously shows that, like, I can't really fully say I don't like attention, but in a lot of scenarios, I don't like the eyes on me. I guess it's different because it's a camera on me, so, like, I can't really, you know. I just always have gotten so, like, embarrassed with that. When I was younger, my sister took me to a when I was literally, like, 6, guys. My sister took me to, like, a modeling thing. I don't know, and we had to, like, introduce ourselves in front of everyone, and I literally just cried, and so my sister had to take me home. She's like, "Oh my god, girl, you're so embarrassing." I was like, "Sorry." But that's how I feel. So I'd rather someone else have the attention. I love giving people attention. Like, I love throwing parties that make people feel special and stuff. For my boyfriend's birthday was a couple weekend. Wait, was it last weekend? It was the 14th. Or not the 14th, the 13th, but we sell no. Yeah, we celebrated on the 12th, I think. And I threw a pizza party for him, and put like I made our house basically like a pizza parlor, and I made a bunch of dessert, s'mores cookies, homemade brownies, um, a bunch of hors d'oeuvres, however the fuck you say it, and then I ordered a bunch of pizza, and yeah, it was really fun. Like, I love doing stuff like that and making people feel really special. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, guys. That is the end of the story time segment. We're going to move on to the advice segment. So if you ever want unprofessional advice from me, the link is below. It's a Google form. Just let me know as much as possible about whatever situation you're going through, and I'll try to help. This one says, and it has a trigger warning essay. It says, "How do I get over my ex slut shaming me for getting assaulted by a friend? I, now 20 female, then 18, dated my ex, now 20 male, then 18, from our junior year of high school into the start of college. We were very serious and ended up breaking up due to me not feeling supported during my struggles with mental health. It was a pretty clean breakup when I decided to end things, although there were a few points where I tried to go back to him. Our relationship lasted during a major part of high school, and I was very attached to him and the idea that our relationship could get back to what it had been for the first half of it. He was not a bad guy, although most people would call him an asshole, but he didn't make me feel like a priority or like our limited time together was valuable. Those were the main things that ended the relationship in August of 2023. About a month after the breakup, I went back to our high school to see a production put on by the drama department we had both been involved in with a mutual friend, now 20 male. I'll call him Jake. After the play, Jake and I had plans to hang out at his dorm with his roommate, who was another friend from high school, and drink a bit. When I got to his dorm after the play, I asked about where our other friend was because I was expecting him to be home, but he had gone to visit his mom and Jake had not informed me. If I had known that previously, I would have just went home. But it was a 30-minute drive and I had to check my ID into the front desk, so I felt compelled to just stay. When we started drinking, I ended up drinking about 3 to 4 shots of vodka and 3 to 4 shots of peanut butter whiskey. For some additional context, I never drank in high school. This was maybe my third time ever drinking, and I definitely overdid it. The night is pretty spotty, but I know we played pool with one of Jake's roommates, and eventually he went to bed, leaving Jake and I alone. This dorm setup was kind of interesting. There were 4 different rooms that were all separated by a key card access with a small common area and 2 bathrooms that led out to the hallway. Needless to say, everyone had their own private space. Jake and I eventually played Minecraft and maybe drank some more. I just remember running to the bathroom 3 separate times to throw up. I had not eaten much, if anything, that day as well, so I was throwing up bile in little black pieces of my stomach. Sorry for anyone that doesn't like puke. After throwing up 3 times, Jake let me lay down on his bed, and I was just grateful I wasn't going to have to sleep on the floor. He eventually laid and started cuddling up next to me and eventually asked if he could kiss me, which in that state I agreed to. This escalated to us sleeping together and a lot of regret for hungover me in the morning, although I would barely call sleeping together because he barely had more going on down there than I did, but I digress. In the morning, he was trying to be all cuddly with me and touching me, but I was not having it. I was in a mix of shock that it even happened, regret that it escalated to that point, humiliation that I had done something like that with someone I was supposed to be friends with, along with many other emotions, but overwhelmingly that my ex could not find out. I knew he would have a horrible reaction and would never trust me after something like that. even though it didn't feel like either of us were at a stage of consenting at that point. When I talked to Jake about what happened the next day, we agreed that it was a one time drunk mistake and would not be happening again, and that it was going to stay between us. If he had stuck to his word, though, I probably wouldn't be writing in. For a while, I believed it was a drunk mistake. I told one of my very good friends about what happened, and they also thought I should not let my ex know, as we were no contact at that point. So that's what I did. In October, I was full of guilt and shame for what happened with Jake, and I tried numbing that with some experiences with some other guys, but I always felt like I wanted my ex deep down, so I ended up reaching out to him. This led to us meeting up a few times, but he was adamant about us taking some more time apart before getting back together, so we left it at that. In November, I was still just living my life, and 2 days before my birthday, I get a screenshot sent to me by three different people that my ex had sent to them of him asking Jake if we hooked up, and Jake saying that we had and he didn't really remember it. I highly doubt that, though, as he is probably about 300 pounds and 6 foot, and I was probably 135 at the time, and I'm 5'8". We also had the same amount to drink, and he was not drinking before I got there. Due to all of that, it's hard for me to believe that he didn't have some intention of that beforehand, especially considering the only reason it got to my ex was because Jake had been talking to people we went to high school with about how we apparently hooked up at a party. This all ended in a very toxic conversation with my ex and me blocking everyone involved. I then tried to get away from all of it by diving into a relationship with the guy I was talking to at the time, which is a whole other story. Ever since then, I keep hearing different things and seeing my ex or Jake in passing at events, and the anxiety and stress of it all never goes away. I love being home and seeing the new things my high school has to offer, but I can go back to my old town without feeling like I may see one of them and have a panic attack. It doesn't help that my ex decided to hook up with one of my friends that he used to hate, assumingly partially to get back at me. This friend also knew about the assault and subsequent slut shaming, so that was an added layer to the situation. Overall, I just want to know if you have any advice on the situation. I would love to go home and not feel anxious, but I think that will still take a while. But is there anything I can do to feel more comfortable and confident now? Okay, the first thing I have to say is if a guy knows that you are obviously going to the bathroom, throwing up multiple times, needing to take a rest on his bed to like calm down and then he takes advantage of you, he knows he's taking advantage of you. So the fact that he's trying to downplay it is awful of him. Like what he did wasn't okay. 6 shots is a lot, even for me. And I've like even when I was younger, like 6 shots, I drink a pretty good amount, and 6 shots would have got me very, very intoxicated. Yeah, I probably would have been throwing up too. I definitely think that it's important that you're realizing, though, that it was wrong and that you are admitting to yourself, because I think that's like the first step is kind of admitting that, saying it like out loud and realizing that is assault and you weren't able to meaningfully consent because you were not in the state to consent and he knew that. And I totally get like you feel betrayed by your friend. That's really the biggest thing. And then not only that, but you also feel betrayed by your ex-boyfriend talking about you in that manner, which isn't okay as well. So that's like double betrayal, which I understand. But really, like if you really think about it, they are scum in this situation. They are the bad people in this situation. The part about you going home and like wanting to feel comfortable, I would just say redefine like what home was for you, why you were going back. You weren't going back for them. You're going back for you and what made you feel like what makes you feel joy. If you have maybe a trusted friend or like a family member to go with you to these events or things that or places that you go for a little bit until you're like a little bit more comfortable. And then also, you don't owe anyone a conversation. You don't owe anyone an explanation. And if you see them, I would definitely ignore them. And if that's too much or if they try to approach you, try to come up with, before you go anywhere, an exit plan and make sure like your friend that you're with knows as well and is like supportive of you. so that you guys can just exit and you don't have to worry about that. And if it's uncomfortable for you to be in the same room or in the same place as them, then you have the right to leave and you don't owe them anything. You don't owe them a look in their direction. Like, you don't owe them anything, either of them. I totally get the way that you feel though. Like, obviously you already were feeling some type of way about the situation the day after, and then to have it like nailed into you by the slut shaming, and then also your friend telling people clearly for his benefit because he thinks that it will, I don't know, gain him some brownie points. But if people knew the real situation, they probably wouldn't be looking at him the same way anymore. Just remember that one night does not define you. Like, that one night doesn't define you. And that's something that you just have to keep reminding yourself, and it will get better with time. Also, just make sure to speak kindly about yourself. And as always, with especially things as deep as this, because I feel like dealing with an assault is a lot deeper than just, speaking kindly to yourself or trying to make an exit plan or realizing that one night doesn't define you. Like, I think that it's a little bit deeper than that. And I always, obviously, in most of these advice segments, I recommend like journaling and especially therapy if it's accessible to you. This is something that I feel as if you work through with a therapist and a professional, it will definitely help a lot more than anything else could. It's just you have to find the right therapist. That's like the probably the biggest struggle with therapy, which I understand makes people hesitant about wanting to go to therapy because it can be a little bit scary and daunting. But I do think that once you find the right therapist, it helps a lot, and it can help a lot to help you process that situation. And even just asking that therapist for advice. And I don't like to be, I don't know what I'd call it, biased or like sexist. I don't know. I found that women therapists are the best for me because I think that they can understand a little bit more personally, like what you're going through and how the woman brain works. And I'm not saying that like a guy can't be a good therapist. I'm not saying that. But I don't know. I don't want to be sexist or anything about it, but I definitely had a lot better luck with a woman therapist, and it was a complete different scenario when I had a male therapist. It was the worst experience. He like scarred me. So I'm so glad that I found a good woman therapist after my terrible experience with a man. That's not to say that I don't believe men can't be good therapists to women, but I do feel like it's a little easier for like men to have a male therapist and women to have a female therapist just because we're so different in the ways that we think and the ways that we deal with things. I definitely think that if you have access to therapy, like that's definitely, especially trauma specialized therapy or EMDR or something along those lines so that you can process that. And then I think from there, that's where you can start to feel more confident. But obviously, there are things that you can work through on your own if you don't have access. And through that, I feel like journaling or maybe finding a forum online where other people have gone through similar situations that you could talk to, and maybe even reading books about it. And yeah, I'm really sorry that you went through that. I mean, I definitely can relate on a lot of the stuff that you said in that story. And I can understand completely, like personally, how hard that can be, especially when you're that young. It's really hard to go through something like that, and it's really hard to get through something like that. But as someone who has been through those, like a similar situation on a few different occasions, I can tell you, like, as someone that's older than you, it does get better and it does heal with time. But I think that if I didn't work on myself and spend a lot of time reading about specific things that I'm dealing with or journaling and also going to therapy and stuff, I think that I would probably be a little bit more behind than I am now. So I hope that you find something that works for you, and I hope that it starts to get better. Don't even ask me what I'm wearing. Also, love you so much, and thank you so much for submitting that. I don't know if you can see the bottom half of my body, but I'm wearing my PJ pants with this jacket. Don't even ask me why I put this jacket on, because I don't know. I just put this jacket on and I was like, I'll just wear this for the podcast. But it's like, I wonder if you can hear it making squeaky, rubbery noises. It's not that comfortable, but I don't know. I like the orange. I feel like it's a nice color. And I did my makeup today. Guys, I did. I actually have, I don't even think I own like a high priced product of makeup. So literally all my makeup is always drugstore. But this is a full face of drugstore products, okay? I filmed a TikTok of doing a full face of drugstore products. And I also filmed my skin prep for my makeup, which I just recently, within the past couple months, discovered skin prep. Don't even make fun of me, but it has changed my makeup game. I really feel like my makeup goes on so much better now. It lasts so much longer and it just looks so much better. So, highly recommend to get a skin prep routine. I use all of The Ordinary because it's cheap and it's also good. That's just what life's about for me. It's cheap and good products because who am I? I'm not about to sit out here. I went to Ulta the other day and I was like, you know, the nice black honey Clinique lip gloss, pretty much? It looks so nice on people, okay? And I'm sure it's a great product. But the fact that it's like 25 to $30, I can't remember the exact price, for that, when it's literally like a lip gloss that is going to come off in 3.7 seconds and you're going to have to reapply is crazy to me. I just don't like, I can't imagine just spending all that money and like Dior products and stuff. Like, I'm sure it's great makeup, yeah, but I'm not going to be spending $60 on the fucking drunken elephant or whatever. What is that? Drunk elephant? The bronzing drops are $39 for one fluid ounce. Yeah, so I got e.l.f. bronzing drops because who the hell has the time or the money to spend on $39 for an ounce? Or do you want my left arm and my right leg as well? Because you might as well take it. Because that's a lot of fucking money to be spending on one fluid ounce of something. Like, how about I sell my tears for one fluid ounce? And I'll give it to you. We can trade. We can exchange. It's really wild to me. That's all I have to say. It's a gloomy day out today. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And I love you more than words can express. Please, if you haven't already, press the subscribe button. Seriously, because I love you. And also turn on the notification bell because sometimes I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm just like lying, but I feel like sometimes you guys don't see my videos, but obviously, like, you know, I post every day on the weekdays, Monday through Friday, and then one day in the morning on Patreon. So, you know, to always, if you, I have not missed an episode. I don't know how long it's been that I've been posting Monday through Friday every day. I don't think it's been that long though. I think it's only been like a few months, I feel like. I'm excited to see where this page can take me. I just hit 30,000 subscribers, which is amazing, and I'm so happy. I literally had just said something about how, like, oh my god, I know I'm gonna say my goal for the year for subscribers is 100K. I know that's crazy. And then like 2 days later, I started getting so many subscribers, and now I'm at 30,000. And that was like 2 weeks ago that I said that. So now I'm like, wait, maybe my goal is 1 million subscribers. Maybe my goal for the end of the year is to be at 1 million subscribers. Okay? And I'll speak that into existence. So maybe in 2 days, I will pop off and get to 100,000 subscribers. And then, guys, thank you so much for the support. Seriously, like, I, I just always, I want to respond to every single comment. I swear I respond to like pretty much every single comment. I always want to respond to every single comment. And I just like, I'm so grateful for any ounce of support that you guys give me. And whenever you guys comment, it makes my day. It makes my day. It really does. and I love it. And I never want to stop being grateful. I always want to have that gratitude for you guys, and I feel like I always will. But I know that like I feel like so many creators, it starts to like die down, the gratitude. I know a lot of creators do have a lot of gratitude, like even Tana Mojo, she seems like so grateful all the time. But I just feel like I just always want to have gratitude. And I feel like that just takes being present and like, coming down to earth sometimes about things. And I always want to be on earth and down to earth and like recognize, because this like a year ago, this would have been, I would be shitting my pants. You know what I mean? Like a year ago, I was dreaming about this happening. A year ago, I was recording a video on my YouTube saying how I wanted to take content creation seriously this year, and that I was like always wanted to be a content creator my whole life, and I've always just like made videos and then scrapped them, posted them, then deleted them and all of that stuff. And now I'm like actually pursuing that, and I'm actually growing, and I feel like we've actually built like a fun community, and that's so amazing to me. And I'm just so grateful. And I love you guys. And I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye. My merch is out. Yeah, but this is it. And this comes in pink, black, and white. If you want to get a little cute piece of merch, go grab one. Link is in the description to purchase. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.